So, lesson number 12, food for all. Okay. Now, what is agricultural season? We get food from plants. From where do we get food? We get food from the plants. Okay. Now, for that purpose, we sow seeds, we sow grains in fields and plant fruit trees in orchards. About 60% of the land of our country is used in agriculture. How many percent? 60%. %60 of land is used for agriculture. There are two main agricultural seasons in our country. As I have told you before also, first is Kharif and Rabi. The season from June to October. The season from June to October. Okay. The season from June to October is Kharif and from October to March is Rabi season. Okay. Now, the season from June to October, in this season the crops are watered mainly in the rain. With the rain in Kharif season they get, from June to October rainy season is there. So, they get rain and they get water nicely in this month. So, we get Kharif crops, and in the month of October to March, that is Rabi season. In this season rainwater that has soaked in the soil, the retraining monsoon and dew are the sources of water for crops. Now, in this season the water is soaked in the land. Okay. Now, in addition, some crops are grown in March to June. There are some crops which are grown in March to June. They are known as summer crops. Okay. In March to June, the crops which are grown, they are known as summer crops. Okay. Now, which is the season for growing rice? Can you tell which is the season for growing rice? Now, agricultural work. How that farmers they work in the land. Every farmer wishes to get a good harvest. Okay, they want good harvest from the land. The good harvest provide a good income. If good this grains will come in large quantity, so they will get good income from that. Okay. So, for this they have to use good type of fertilizers they have to use. The land should be properly take care of their land. Okay. And then they have to put some good type of fertilizer should be used. Okay. A good harvest provide a good income. Fertilizer, land, good quality seeds and fertilizers and availability of water are essential for good harvest. For this they need good fertilizers, then good seed they have to use. Because of that they will get nice income from that. Okay. So, it is also necessary to carry out the task of tilling the land. The crop in the field must be protected and the harvest crop must also be stored safely. All these processes are important. All these things are very important for growing a good quality of crops. Okay. The population of our country is increasing and still the needs of all the people are being met. This has been possible because of modern improved method of the agriculture. Because of good type of agriculture, there are some scientists, those who are finding all this information for agriculture, for this farmer. They are trying to find some new things to grow more seeds. So, because of all these things, our population is increasing so much. So, we are able to complete the possible things. Okay. So, traditional agriculture. In the traditional method of agriculture, plucking, tilling, etc. were done with the help of oxen. So, traditional means from many years they are using this traditional method of plucking with the oxen. Okay. So, a huge leather bag drive with the help of oxen was used. Draw water from the well. So, what they used to do? They used to put a bag, and with that they used to remove water from the well, and they used to use in their field with the help of oxen. See, you might have been seen in Marathi movies, there were two oxen was there, then they are removing water from the well and they are using that water for the farm, for that for harvesting. Okay. So, by the member of the farmer's family themselves with the help of oxen. However, farmers carry out all this task with the help of machines. Now, plucking the land. How they used to pluck the land? With the help of that oxen only they used to pluck the land. And now, first they used to do all this thing, but now there is many things have come newly, that is improved method of agriculture. Now, there are many things have making moderated, then seeds are also they are improved, they are checking the soil also, whether the soil is able to produce more more seeds, produce more agriculture or no, that they have improved methods of agriculture. Now, what are the improved methods? Okay, they have improved the seed also. Now, earlier it was customary to preserve the seed of one harvest for sowing in the next season. So, first what they used to do, now for example, this year whatever the seed they used to get, they used to keep this seed, half seed they used to use it, but half seed they used to keep for next year. So, because of that there was means it was not a proper seed. Okay. So, they were not getting properly this harvest. So, now what they are doing, earlier it was customary to preserve the seeds of one harvest for sowing in the next season. Those seeds did not have a high yield. This seed was not having high yield, means high return they were not getting high return from that seeds. But nowadays improved seeds are developed through research. Through research now they are using the good quality of the seeds because of this research. They are available in the market for every crops such as jowar, rice, groundnut, wheat, etc. There are improved such as, what are they? Jowar, rice, groundnut, all these are improved seeds they will get in the market now. These have a higher yield, they are having a higher yield, means they will get good seed from this seeds. They can resist pest attack, means if the pest is attacking on them, they can resist them. Okay. Some varieties become ripe for harvesting in a shorter period of time, while some give a high yield even with the low water supply. These seeds are so nice that if water supply is also less, then also they can give a good quality of seed in back. Okay. Now, methods of irrigation. There are different types of methods of irrigation. Okay. From that, now modern method of irrigation. First they used to do different type of method, and now modern method. How they have improved their method of irrigation, we are going to learn. Okay. Now, crops grow well if they are watered at the right time. If they will water the crop on a time, the crops will grow nicely. Water from rivers, lakes and well is used for irrigation in addition to rainwater. See, if rainwater is not there, what they do? Waters from rivers, lakes and wells is used for irrigation, okay, with rainwater. If rainwater is not there, they can use the waters from lake, rivers, okay, and if rainwater is then no problem, they store the rainwater, okay, and they use it. Greater quantity of water are stored by building dam and bunds on river to abstract the flow of water downstream. This also help to raise the level of groundwater. Okay, they make dams and they reserve, they collect all the water in the dams and then they use bunds to store the water for irrigation. Crops were traditionally watered through canals. So, crops were used to water through the canals. They used to make the canals and they used to water their crops. Okay. However, much water from the canal is lost due to evaporation and seepage into the ground. So, what was happened? Because of that canal, too much water has been wasted because of the mud used to absorb all the water. Okay. Then certain improved methods of irrigation are used which provide enough water to the plant and at the same time help to save a lot of water. Now, what new thing they have done? Drip irrigation and sprinkle irrigation are two of these modern methods. Now, they have started, they have improved. First is drip irrigation and the second is sprinkle irrigation. With this, the water is saved. Okay. Now, what is drip irrigation? See, one pipeline is over here like this. Okay. And it goes near the root and by drops the water is coming directly in the root. Okay. So, because of this the water is saved. How? Because it is all this water is absorbing in the ground in the roots. So, this is known as drip irrigation and sprinkle irrigation. So, in sprinkle irrigation what they have done, you know? See, there are many plants. So, in sprinkle they used to put like this pipes over here and they used to sprinkle all water in this area. One pipe is over here. Okay. Then in this full area the water is supplied. Okay, it is sprinkle. This is drip irrigation and this is sprinkle. With this the water is going here, everywhere. It is sprinkling on the plants. Okay, so on distance they are doing this and they are sprinkling the water. So in this way also the water is saved, in this way also water is saved. Okay, and first what they used to do, for example, see now here fields are there, here two fields are there. Okay, and from here, from the canal, that water is coming, the water is coming from here. So they used to open one side of this and this water used to go in this field, and from here also they used to open this space and this water used to enter in the field. So because of this too much wastage of water is there, so it will full with the water. Because of this canal the water is going from this area and from this area, so the water is wasted a lot. But in drip irrigation and in sprinkle irrigation the water is saved. Okay. Now the drip irrigation method make use of pipe with hole. This pipe is used with the help of holes, with that the water is sprinkled. So this ensure that the required amount of water drips only near the plant, thus full use is made of available water. Sprinkle irrigation make use of sprinkle of different size that spray water directly on the plant. Okay. Now fertilizers, which fertilizers are used for this agriculture? Now if the same crops are grown rapidly in a field, same crops are grown rapidly in the same field, then what will happen? The fertility of the soil decreases, the fertility of the soil will decrease. Okay. And then we have to add fertilizers to the soil to restore its productivity. Okay. Fertilizers provide the required nutritive substance to the crop. There are two kind of fertilizers, natural and chemical. There are two types of fertilizers. What are they? Natural and chemical. Natural and chemical. Now what is natural fertilizer and what is chemical fertilizer? Okay, in natural fertilizer the things are used naturally, and in chemical all the chemicals are used in this fertilizer. Actually chemical fertilizers are not so good, natural fertilizers are good for us. Now if the same crops are grown rapidly in a field, the fertilizers of the soil decreases. Then we have to add fertilizers to the soil to restore its productivity. Fertilizers provide the required nutritive substance to the crops. There are two kinds of fertilizers. First is natural and the second is chemical. Now natural fertilizers are called manures. What are natural fertilizers are called? Manures. See, natural fertilizers are called manures. They are obtained from materials available in nature. Natural means the material which are obtained from the nature. in nature, like green waste and animals dung. What is natural? Natural is green waste and animal dung. What is animal dung? Gobar, for example. Okay. Now chemical are artificial fertilizer. Chemical fertilizers are what? They are artificial fertilizers and mixture of different chemical. Okay. Now see, fertilizers, natural, manure, then chemical, artificial fertilizers, mixture of chemical. These are natural, they are known as manure, cow dung or green waste of green plant and all these things. For example, dry leaves and all, they are also under natural. Okay. And chemical fertilizer is what? Artificial fertilizer, they are mixture of many chemicals. Okay. Substances in specific proportion useful for agriculture. In traditional agriculture, organic method such as organic manures such as compost are used. Chemical fertilizers come to be used for quicker growth and higher yield. However, the harmful effects of the use of these fertilizers soon became clear. The overuse of chemical fertilizers leads to accumulate of excessive chemical in the soil. So, these lowers the fertility of the soil and reduces its productivity. So, if we use a lot of chemicals in the fertilizers, we will get less productivity. Okay? And it is not so good for our health. And if we use natural things, they are good for our health and the productivity is also good. The quality of the food is also good. Overwatering makes the land saline and fallow. Means if we will water too much, it is not good for the growth of soil, for the growth of plant also. Too much water is not good. Okay. So, this is seen especially in the parts where water is available in plenty, as the example near dams or on river bank. Means if the farm is near the dam, they will put too much of water. So, it is not good for the crops. If land becomes saline and fallow, it has to be tasted to find out which substance is lack. If they will put too much of water, they use this little bit of mud of their land and they took for tasting that. The fertility can restore by adding these substances. It is a costly and time consuming procedure. If some substance is less in that mud, so what they do, they add that substance. It is very costly. So, all this thing happen because of this chemicals. So, it is better to use natural thing, not the chemical fertilizers. Therefore, it is better to avoid excessive use of fertilizers and water. So, it is best to use natural thing and do not use a lot of water and fertilizers. Protection of crops. Now, how to protect the crops? Diseases and pest attacks can damage crop in the field. So, if we will not take care of our crops, what will happen? All the insect will attack the crops and our whatever is there in your field, it will get damaged. As a remedy, insecticide and pesticides are spread on crops, or certain chemicals are rubbed on the seed before sowing. Sometimes before sowing the seeds there are some chemical, because of that this insect or disease will not attack your crops, and insecticide and pesticides are spread on the crops, because of that the insect will not attack on the crops. Storage of grain. How to store? At home also we store many grains, okay. So sometimes your mother will put that boric powder in the wheat, or sometimes they put the neem leaves in that to store the food, okay. Now storing the harvest crop safely in an important is as important, okay. So store food in our homes according to our need. Food storage and conservation of environment, like yes, storage of grain, storing the harvested crop safely in is an important. Increasing the production, what steps are taken for this purpose? The grain is dried well in the sun and filled in the sack. Now in see, the farmers, what they do, they have a lot of grain. So what they do, you know, they dry all this grain in the sun, and after that they fill in the sacks, small sacks, for example 30 kg, 20 kg, 10 kg. So what they all do, they fill the sacks and they store in their storage room, okay, or they store it in the house. After sealing in warehouse or shop, stored grains can get damaged in two ways. Mice, rat and insects can spoil the grain to great extent. Also, if grain is stored in the closed and damp space, it catches fungus and becomes unfit for eating. If you will put in a damp place, what will happen? It will be the fungus will catch and it will be not good for us for eating, okay. So now we will stop here. Next period I will continue, okay. Thank you.